Cingari here with Daniel Weichel, who joins me all the way from Germany. He has a big fight coming up at Bellator 133 in February. How are you today?
Hey, thanks. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now tell me how training camp is coming along for you.
Training camp is going great so far. I don't take off over the year. I train the whole year, and just the last 6-8 weeks it gets a little bit more specific on the game plan, sharpen up the mids, and focusing on the game plan.
What's a typical training day like for you then?
I train twice a day, 6 days a week, and my day starts with the first training at 9:30. And the training at night is around 5 o'clock. And in between, I go home, I cook my meals, and maybe visit my physiotherapist. Yeah, things like that.
What are some of the meals that you cook then prior to the fight? Is there a certain weight training program that you follow as well?
Yeah, I have a strict diet plan. One of my friends, who's also a training partner of mine, Stefan Pütz, he writes the diet plan for me, and I follow this plan the whole training camp.
The stats say Kern has a 2-inch reach advantage over you. You have a very strong submission game. Will you look to take the fight to the ground then?
The 2-inch reach advantage doesn't bother me too much. I mean, we know what Pat Curran is, what fighter he is, and we prepared for that. And we prepared in all parts, like standing, wrestling, and on the ground. And like I said, since the tournament, I was constantly training. And I feel like a complete different fighter. And I can't wait to show that on February 13th.
What kind of fight can the fans expect to see when they tune in on February 13th then?
For me, I think it easily can be one of the most exciting fights in Bellator, because Pat always brings exciting fights and high-paced fights, and I always come to finish the fight. So I think this matched up good, and I think this is a fight the fans will want to see.
You've won 11 of your last 12 fights and have been undefeated since signing with Bellator. Do you think that gives you an advantage at all going into this fight, mentally and physically?
Definitely winning gains confidence, but every fight is different, and I'm very, very critical to myself, and I analyze my fights very strict. So I look forward, and I try to learn from all my mistakes, use it for my next fight.
How did you get the nickname the Weasel then?
That's funny, man. We were in our gym. We all have different kind of nicknames and stuff. And it was a friend of mine who was joking around with my last name Weichel. He was like, turn it into Weichel and then Weasel. And then somehow we stick with the quick fighting style. We stick with the Weasel. Yeah.
I like that. Now, you got into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at the age of 14. How were you introduced to the sport then?
First of all, I always wanted to get into martial arts, even a long time before I started with it. And then in my school there was a poster for a self-defense class, and I asked my parents like for weeks that I can go there, and then they let me go, and that was the first time I had contact with martial arts, and from then took me a friend to a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu class. And when I saw first time a real Brazilian Jiu Jitsu class, I was like infected with the sport and fascinated. And from then on, it was no turning back for me.
Looking ahead, it's probably too early to ask, but I know our American viewers and other viewers around the world would want to know, if you win Pat, who else is on your radar next that you think you might want to fight coming up? Anybody you thinking of?
My overall goal is to be the best and to be the Bellator champion. For now, I only focus on Pat Curran. I mean, if we look at the Bellator featherweight division, it's a tough division. We have so many yeah, world-class fighters. There's Pitbull, there's Strauss, there's Caracan now coming in, and yeah, I can't wait to face any of them.
You're an ambassador for an organization called Respect, and it's spelled
Yeah.
RESPEKT. Tell us about this organization, how you're involved, and what it means to you to be a part of it.
Respect stays for no to racism, and yeah, it's an initiative who basically says not to judge any person by his culture, religion, or color. And for me, it means a lot because what I experienced with this sport is that I can go all over in the world, and MMA, especially for me, connects every every person, yeah, and it's a big energy, I think. And when they asked me if I want to be an ambassador, I was thrilled for that because it's an experience that I can give to other people and maybe be an inspiration to others to carry respect. Yeah, not only in the sport, also outside to the world. And I think this is a good message, yeah, to bring to the world.
Now, you've had some big names attend some of these events. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have big sport events where also Fedor was participating as a respect, yeah, as also like a respect ambassador, and yeah, also beside sport events and public appearance, I also give seminars as a respect ambassador.
That's very interesting. It's true. Mixed martial arts unites the world. It's popular in places that we haven't even heard of and becoming more popular in places that are just getting into it. So it's a great sport. I'm so glad to be involved in it as a reporter, and I know you're glad to be involved in it as a fighter.
Yeah. Also, like big soccer players are ambassadors. Like all many popular sportmen carry this message yeah, from respect. Yeah.
Very interesting project. Now we have some questions from Twitter I'd like to go to. Our first one is from Dennis Hellman. Dennis wants to know, what are you doing mentally, psychologically in preparation for this fight with Curran?
It's tough to say because the mental part is a very big part of our sport, and for me it's like almost 24/7. Every time when I visualize the fight, I have to I concentrate and I try to figure out how I react in certain situations. And I think this is yeah, one of the biggest parts, like visualizing yeah, difficult situations of the fight and getting out of it, and then bring it into the fight. Yeah, and yeah, always throughout the training camp you have ups and downs and you have to handle it. And yeah, it's a big part. And yeah, like when I have I think the difficult part is to handle the downs in the training camp. So when I have maybe a bad day, I sit down, I analyze what went wrong, and then yeah, and then I fix it the next day. So this also gains the confidence all over, I think. And you go into strong with a strong mind into the fight.
Dennis also asks, can you describe the German fight scene for those of us who are not familiar with it?
I think compared to the US, in Germany, the German fighting is still small, but it's growing. We have some events all over the year, and they're getting more professional every time I see it. And yeah, unfortunately, it's not on television, but I'm sure it will be in future soon. And yeah, that would help definitely to bring the sport closer to the people. And yeah, but what I can recognize that more and more people around me understand the sport MMA better, and they get to know what it's all behind being an MMA fighter, how professional you have to live to carry yourself, like in the training camp all over the year. Yeah. And yeah, also I think me being the Bellator champion would help the German MMA scene too.
Do you find that younger children, since the sport is becoming more popular in Germany, do you find that younger children are getting into MMA at an earlier age? And are you being approached by them sort of as a role model, I would think, in your home country?
Of course, yeah, it's a great thing to inspire young people to do to get into the sport and yeah, learn also like respect and discipline. Yeah, and I think MMA is a great sport to learn all these things. Yeah, and also get physical strong.
Yeah. Doug at MMA Fight Fans wants to know, how do you think you match up with the former champ Pat Curran, and how do you envision the fight ending?
Like I said before, I vision the fight everywhere. We compete at such a high level now, and it's not like I only see the fight going standing or only in the clinch. For me, mentally, I go through every part of MMA, and yeah, like I said, I gained so much confidence in the last 2 years training with my team that yeah, I see myself better overall, and yeah, I just feel that I'm going to win this fight, and I know that I will be the champion. I know I have all the tools, and I sharp all my skills, all my fighting skills to a point that I can use it right now perfectly for all the upcoming challenges.
Dontra Lovett at Trauma Birth wants to know, how do you deal with the pressure of fighting a more experienced mixed martial artist?
I have no pressure going into the fight because, yeah, like I said before, training camp is going perfectly. I think I feel myself, I grew as a fighter so much that I have so much confidence going into the fight that I think Pat has to carry the pressure.
Before we go today, anything else you'd like to add, Daniel?
Of course, I want to thank all the MMA fans around the globe, all my supporters. Thank you all for the messages. I'm always getting a lot of energy out of this. And please tune in on February 13th, live on Spike, Bellator 133. It will be a hell of a fight, and I see you there.
Thanks so much for joining us today, and I wish you good luck on your fight at Bellator 133.